Like Gran and Jita, Katalina's jumping U has been given reduced startup, going down to 10 frames from 13. Having this normal be faster is probably just overall a nice quality of life change for Katalina. Katalina's dash heavy also had its proximity guard range increased, meaning it's harder for the opponent to make a whiff by just simply walking backwards against it now. This is what it would look like before. This is how it looks now. As you can see, Gran can't just simply retreat away from this move. Because he triggers his block animation earlier, it means that this is more reliable for Katalina to try to approach with. I don't think the change will matter too much in the long run, just because in mid-screen you don't really get much reward for hitting a dash heavy. Where you're more likely to find a reward is when you're close enough to the corner, and by that point, the opponent's probably going to be close enough to where you would have had the proximity guard trigger anyway.
Great.
Still, it is a buff overall. It means that this can be another mental stack that Katalina can threaten in neutral with, albeit one with little reward. Light Frozen Blade had its hit stop increased by 2 frames, which increases the overall frame advantage on block from -9 to -7. This is a subtle change, but it's one that has a couple of implications for Katalina's pressure sequences. Namely the fact that now if she does this from a triple attack string, she's no longer punishable by heavies. Far heavy slash here punishes from Gran in the previous patch. In the same sequence, you no longer get punished by the far heavy slash. Now, of course, Gran can still punish here with a far medium slash, so this isn't going to reinvent Katalina's pressure or anything, but it does mean that it is safer to use this as like a safe poke at a distance and not be so exposed to the enemy counterattacking you. Medium Frozen Blade had the same change to the hit stop, so it's now also -7 on block, but it received 2 other changes as well. For starters, the travel speed has been increased. It is very noticeable. The pushback on block has also been increased. As you can see here, the 5M from Gran punishes, in combination of the -9 frame data from the old patch, though this is still a punish in the current patch as well, if you have the same spacing. The pushback from Medium Frozen Blade is important for her pressure, though, because it actually means she's able to be pushed back far enough so that these 5Ms are not able to punish her. As you can see, Gran's 5M here hits on frame 8, 1 frame after Katalina successfully recovered. She has a way to be safe after her fireball pressure and to stop her block streams by using the Medium Frozen Blade. There's not really much of an RPS mind game going on here, though, as the opponent can safely push these medium normals and either catch a safe Katalina at range blocking, or just simply punish her otherwise. As you can see, you can't use Light Wall or anything like that to contest this space. Her ultimate enchanted lands have seen a couple of changes as well. The lateral knockback and launch height for the second hit have been increased.
Great.
In the previous patch, you get about this much space, and in the corner, you'd be able to link a close heavy slash, but not a too heavy.
Excellent. Great.
Here's how the distance looks in the current patch.
Great.
From mid-screen, now Gran is now firmly in the corner. And on a corner hit, you're able to link a 2 heavy slash. This can open up some new combo routes for Katalina that might be higher damaging than her previous ones. There have also been some buffs to the armored frames of enchanted lands that are going to be pretty much impossible to show, but we can appreciate the sheer increase of it by comparing the numbers. The armored frames have gone up from just frames 7 to 9 for a total of 2 frames of armor, to frames 7 to 17, a total of 10 frames of armor. This means that this move is far more reliable, actually, as a counter-neutral tool to deal with your opponent's pokes or fireballs, potentially, and actually get a hit. Again, you're not really going to get much reward for this unless you have the opponent in the corner. And I mentioned the corner for a reason. There's one more change to Enchanted Lands, and that is to its block pushback. There is no more pushback to Katalina when this move is blocked. This is what the situation would look like before. Katalina would be -6 in this situation, so still punishable, but as you can see, she's just outside of throw range. This is what the situation looks like now. If you block enchanted lands in the corner, you're actually able to get a throw punish on her, which means you could select a back throw here to take corner positioning and try and leverage the advantage. Or you can simply take a standard punish and go for a high damage combo if you have the kill. Now, of course, what I mentioned before about being able to use this as a neutral tool will depend on the matchup. Against some fireballs, for example, going for an ultimate enchanted lands would be a pretty good idea overall with the new armor frames. As you can see here, we get a pretty clean punish on Gran. However, if you're fighting against a character that has fireball recovery like Katalina, it's possible that you actually just throw yourself to the wolves. With the no pushback on block anymore on Katalina, you can always be in range for some characters to reach out and get a punish on you. Be sure to lab the matchups and see what timings you can throw out this and move. The bulk of Katalina's buffs in this patch lie within her unique skill, Light Wall. We're going to be talking about all the changes here together. With no charge, Light Wall has a couple of new properties to it. The startup has been reduced by 1 frame, going down from 22 to 21. The lateral knockback and launch height have both been increased, and the mid-air hit stun has been increased by 3 frames, going up from 24 frames to 27 frames. As you can see, you get a little more frame advantage as well as a lot more ground distance covered. This increases her corner carry when she uses this as a raw tool. However, things get saucier when you consider the other important change that Light Wall received, and that is to her front and back step. The travel speed and distance have both been increased. As you see before, you're not really able to get much of a follow-up afterwards in the old patch from a level 0 Light Wall. But in the current patch, you're actually able to link a close medium afterwards. The overall mobility is much appreciated by Katalina, but this is huge for her opportunities actually by using Light Wall. I like these changes overall because it means that Katalina has more reward for using this tool that is definitely unique to her within the game. The final change to Light Wall is the one that ties everything together. The charge level will now increase by 1 upon defending against an attack. You get the 1300 damage here for a uncharged Light Wall against a successful block. Really, this doesn't give her much of a reward, as we've already been able to demonstrate in the old patch. Now, with the new change to Light Wall, let's check out what we can pull off. We're actually now able to link a close heavy slash, where before we got nothing for being successful in defending against an attack. And that's just at level 1 charge with Katalina on a counter hit as well. With the other levels to it, you can get more and more increasing rewards that she's certainly going to be enjoying. To round out my thoughts on the Katalina changes, I don't think this is going to shift her much in the tier, but it does make the unique aspects of her kit stronger and more fun to play with. She does suffer a couple of pieces here and there, namely from the ultimate skill nerfs that are across the board that I mentioned in the system mechanic changes. But still, the fact that now her Light Wall has a lot more utility to it and gives her more rewards means that her own identity as one of the Shoto-esque characters is able to stand out a little bit more. I also want to give a shout out to BG Callisto, who I was able to reference on Twitter for a couple of these changes to explore their impact. If you give them a quick follow or look through their tech here, you'll be able to discuss their own thoughts as a longtime Katalina player on some of the changes. Namely, you'll note that there's some negative reviews to the 214U change, or the Enchanted Lands change, while also agreeing that the 6.6 H-Proxy guard is a little bit negligible, especially just due to the result. But you can find all kinds of tech from them there, as well as more Catalina-specific insights in this patch that I might have missed overall in this video. Still, I hope you enjoyed watching the video and were able to enjoy seeing the changes side by side to compare what the character was like before and what she can do now. Thanks again for watching. It's time to make more videos. Lastly, shoutouts to Colorado player Courage for showing me BG Callisto's thread on Katalina changes in the first place. That was a massive resource, and I always appreciate the Colorado FGC for helping make my videos.